We are all set to begin the day, and here we bring the first Tech Pathshala for today. And for this, let me introduce our first tech guru for the day, Mr. Avinash Kar, to present key insights on the topic, which is a hot topic, cybersecurity, securing the enterprise network. Mr. Avinash is a director of Global System Integration Business Channels and Alliance at We Here Interactive Private Limited, a leader with over 2 decades of executive leadership experience in marketing and strategic business development. Avinash is leading We Here's ongoing efforts to innovate and drive adoption of intelligent and active solutions for the real-time cyber situational awareness among both global and domestic enterprise. Let's all welcome Avinash. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. Just confirm me if you can hear me right. It's okay? My voice, my video.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thanks for the lovely introductions. And even I was part of yesterday's session also, and the content was really good and excellent. I just feel that I should have attended all the sessions because the content and the knowledge that was given was excellent. So with this, I would like to start the third day with this session, which is on the cybersecurity for a safer cyberspace. Believe me, this is going to be very interesting topic for today. So my request is that whichever the questions, Sandeep, which you see on the window, please let me know. I would love to answer all those questions as and when we get those questions, or we can keep the question answer session at the later part of the day. So, friends, uh, cyber security, today it's a much talk about topic. And today, if you see, the cyber is the most important aspect of any enterprise. Why we say that is that because without one person asked me this question, why we need a cyber security. Then the question came in that why we need brakes in the automobile if you drive a car. Today all the automobile industry is really spending money on the research and development to improve the braking power. So I was talking to one of the person that why you need to improve our braking power so that we can increase the speed. The question was that because if we have a better speed with better brakes, we can increase the speed of the car, because if in case of any incident happen, we can stop that accident to happen with a brake. So in this word, the cyber security, right, sometime is considered that it is obstacle in the growth of the organization. But believe you me, this is really important to have a very good cybersecurity architecture, cybersecurity processes, tools, techniques in any organization. With this, let me go to the next slide. Sandeep, if you can just help me with the next slide. The agenda, what we going to do is, because when I came to know about all the people who are there on the call, so I said that it's very important to discuss about the importance of an enterprise architecture, security. Reason being that the architecture cannot be an afterthought. We cannot think of a security after designing a solution. It's really important to have a security, cyber security in a mind when we design any application, because that's the most important. These days, the hackers, are really, work with the advanced kind of tools, techniques. You can consider a scenario that somebody is playing a cricket match, and you are the batsman, right? And the hacker who is after your organization, he has no limit that what time he can throw a ball. There is no ball, there is no white ball, there are no rules defined for a hacker. He can at the same time he can throw 5 balls also on the batsman, and the batsman has to protect himself for getting out. So that is how you can consider that the hackers these days, it is really easy to attack any organization. It is really easy to attack any individual. So it's not that, I'm an individual, I don't need a cybersecurity. You need a cybersecurity, because in this connected world, we deal with, you deal with the internet, and you are doing any transaction. You are on a Paytm, you are going to a shop and paying through your Paytm. You are paying your credit card bills, you are doing a banking transaction. So cybersecurity plays a very important role. So we are going to discuss the concept of security by design, objectives of net flow analysis, what is net flow, why it is important for any organization to capture the net flow, then demonstration of net flow analysis. Then we will, sometimes question comes that, the earlier, traditional approach was that we have a very good NOC center, network operation center. Do we really need a SOC, security operation center? Why the whole world is moving from a NOC to a SOC, or why two parallel systems are existing in any organization? They are playing with NOC also, there are teams who are working on the SOC side also. So we'll look into that, why a NOC as well as a SOC is really important. Then we will definitely discuss about the use cases based on situational awareness, why we need it from a compliance perspective, full scale visibility, threat detection, image, triage, and incident response. We'll discuss about these things. And will, questions you have, please type on a chat window so that Sandeep can let me know, and I would love to answer those questions. Yes, Sandeep, we can go to the next slide. So we live in a hyper connected world. So you just see, the way the internet is growing. There are 4 billion users. So it is altogether a separate world of connected users. We have a 44 billion devices which are connected, right? 35 billion applications every day. Everyone is coming with a new application. Some are mission critical applications, some are the application which helps in day to day work. So there's so many applications. So the attack surface is increasing day by day. Hackers have all the opportunities to attack an individual or enterprise. 50,000 organizations means these are the organizations which are like, I'll say that these are organizations who are connected with the internet. Their business is solely on the internet. 500 million domains, mainly the operating systems on the OS side, which is on the PC side we are talking. Otherwise there are so many other operating systems also. If you see that the 10 years back, a decade ago, these numbers were very few, very less. But this today we are talking, and imagine what will happen after 5 years. Let's not talk about a decade. What will happen after 5 years? It is going to blow the whole thing. So what you need to consider cybersecurity. I was referring to in one of my discussions with one of the CIO. If you remember, our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi once said that this is Rakt Vihin Yudh, this is bloodless war. The cybersecurity today, it is really important to consider the cybersecurity. Why he said that it is a bloodless war? The businesses can go out of the business if they get hacked. There are so many examples, so many breaches which are public, in the public domain. Sony breach, Equifax breach, Bangladesh bank breach. These are the breaches. If you see on the internet, you just search the kind of losses these hackers have created for those banks, for those enterprises. It's huge, right? So what we need, it's a real world problem. It is not a problem which is on the paper. It is a real world problem, and real world problem need a real world solutions as well. So we need a solution which can help the enterprises, which can help the individuals as well. Means you and I, all individuals, and we also need a cyber security. And the applications which we use, they have built up a right kind of a security infrastructure. So it is really important that in this hyper connected world, this evolving threat landscape, so many applications, so many vulnerabilities, it is really difficult to even follow or keep a tab on how many vulnerabilities in a day that is being discovered. And believe you me, you just go to a virus total, if after this session or whenever you get a time. There is a website with the name virus total. This is being provided by, or services being given by Google, right? You will see that what kind of vulnerabilities in every day this company is finding it out, and there's so many other things you will come to know about this. So it's really sometime it feel that we are staying in an unsafe world, but with proper precautions, with proper tools, techniques, I think we can be in a very safe environment. The Raktvihin Yudh, the Prime Minister said that, that needs to be addressed. For example, I'll just take an example. Somebody hacks a railway booking system of a country, any country, right? And for every seat which has been allocated, a seat is being given to 5 people. What will happen? You can very well imagine a train is going from one state to another state, and instead of a 72 people in a bogie, now there are 720 people in a bogie, because everybody has paid the money, everybody has a valid ticket. What kind of a war will happen? Means nobody has to do anything. Hacker just need to hack a railway reservation system, and his job is done. So we are really staying in a world which needs to be protected. So can we go to the next slide, please? So what analysts say, security tech CEO must improve situation awareness for non-expert users with artificial intelligence. What this means is that what Gartner is saying. Gartner is saying that the cyber situational awareness is really important topic, and believe you me, this improves our day-to-day productivity also. I just take an example that many of you might be doing this thing. I do it very regularly. The moment I start from my office to for my home, I know how to reach to my home. But usually what I do, I switch on my Google Map. Why I do this? Because it gives me the exact you know condition of the road, how much traffic is there on the road, right? So that I can take a decision. Oh, instead of taking a route A, it's better to take a route B, right? It's really important to understand that, right? Because cyber situation helps you to understand in which condition you are. You can take an informed decision. Like if you know that the road is blocked, you can take an informed decision. So situation awareness, whether it is cyber or in a physical world, it's always better to know the situation you are in. If it's outside, it's raining, it's important to know about the situation so that you can go with the umbrella. If you don't know about the situation, what is the situation outside, you can't take an action. So situational awareness helps you to take an informed decision, better decision, so that there is no problem in your way. So when we talk about cyber situation awareness, it is a situation about your network. What is happening in your network? CISO, the security officer in the organization, Chief Information Security Officer, he is a man who is providing the users, the business users, a mechanism to take so that they can focus on the business. They need not to worry about the security. So for him, it's really important what is happening, how the hackers are coming in my organization. If I am already breached, if the hacker is already in my system, because if you go back 20 years back, we always see that some website has been hacked. That is the maximum impact of a breach. But today, what hackers want, they don't want the person to know that they have been hacked, right? So they want to stay silent in your network. They are silent killers in the network. So it's really important to know about the cyber situation awareness so that uh, informed decision can be taken. So that is what IDC is also saying, that 70% lower their security posture owing to one of insufficient knowledge of tools, techniques. So the users are not trained on the tools and techniques. So it's really important that the system which we design, that complexity is very less, and it should not hinder my day-to-day working. So it's really important to focus on the cyber situation awareness. Can we go to the next slide? Security by design. So it's really important. So why it's really important. But sometimes, we feel that we are safe. Sometimes we feel that, the whatever the problem was there, that has been answered. I just take an example. For example, we are sitting in a room which is like a window room, right? A glass room, which is all the four walls are glass walls. Somebody broken the window pane, or somebody broken the glass door and came inside the room. What traditional security experts used to say is that, replace the broken glass window with a new one and we are safe. Means that is the perception with which most of the traditional way thinking says that, oh, if there was a problem, door was broken, let me replace the door and we are safe. But what if the thief is already inside? He has broken the door and he is already sitting silently for next 1 month in that room, which means that he's observing who is coming inside the room, what time is going out. He's just observing the things so that he can just attack the people and steal something very important in that room. He will stay there and do his work. These hackers are humans. This is a human behind the attack. So security by design is really important. So can we go to the next slide? Yeah. NetFlow is a network protocol that collects active IP network traffic. So I'll just explain in a very simple language. So NetFlow is what? It captures each and every moment in the network. It will capture every moment in the network. Why it is important? Let's take an example. You are going to the airport. You gone to the airport. What has been done once you go to the airport? While entering the airport, you show your valid ticket and passport, that you are a valid traveler, you are having a valid ticket and valid passport. So you go inside, then you take a boarding pass and go the immigration check and go through the security uh, inside the airport. Then you are at the gate. At the gate you have so many shopping shops. You can just, there are so many shops, you can just go and roam around. And if you want to buy something, you want to buy pen, wallet, perfume, you go to that shop. You might have noticed that in that shop there is a video camera which is capturing each and every moment. Now, can we say that because I'm a valid traveler, there is no need for a security camera, right? It is required because I might be a valid traveler, but my intentions to steal, nobody knows about that. So, for example, somebody goes in and picks something from the shop, lift something without paying something, hide something and come out. How to investigate that? It is the security cameras which will help you to investigate, right? So NetFlow is nothing but a mechanism to record each and every moment of every user, whether he is a valid user or some hacker who has come from outside to the organization. So what I'm trying to say over here is that it's really important to, even if I'm a valid user, I am having a valid username and password, but that username and password can be stolen by somebody else might be inside the system pretending that he's a Vinash Garg. So it's really important to record each and every moment. So NetFlow is nothing but a typical flow monitoring setup which has which has a flow collector, flow exporter, and analytic analysis application, which will capture each and every moment. It will capture the it was going to capture each and every traffic movement and then enrich it with the data, that who is responsible for initiating this traffic, what is the length of the packet, and all those things is being captured, analyzed, and monitored, so that if any attack happens, if any hacker is inside, or if any hacker try to get into my organization, I should have a mechanism to investigate it. So we might have seen some, very CID kind of a serials. So what they do, they try to capture the, if there is any video camera, CCTV camera, that they try to take the feed of that. If there is any other moment, they try to do this. So it helps them to investigate. They say that very small input could be useful to reach to the culprit. So NetFlow is capturing each and every moment. It's really important. You pick the fingerprints, you do everything the way you do it in physical world. We do the same thing here in the cyber side of the world, that each and every moment is being captured and it is being used in case of any incident or any get that. Can we go to the next slide? Why use NetFlow? I think I have already covered this. It will help you from a cybersecurity perspective to monitor your network. It will also help you to, it is not only, from a cyber side of the word, it will also help you to give you the, which application is generating most of the traffic, why there is a, bottleneck in the network. So it will help you to monitor your network. It will help you to plan your network. For example, if there is any issue, you see that there is a valid traffic which is being generated from by some certain set of user. It means there is a valid requirement to increase the capacity. So it will help you to capacity planning also. So network planning, and definitely security analysis. It will give you the security analysis that if there is any malicious thing which is happening, it will help you with that also. So it's really important from a security standpoint of view. Should be the first approach for any CISO, cybersecurity in charge of any organization, chief information security officer, that it should be the first thing that should come in my mind, that what is happening in my network. And it's really important to capture that, analyze that, and plan as per that. Can we go to the next slide? So this is how, just from a, it is pure, because this is to give you some brief about how things are being done in a actual world. So how it's really exciting, if you see the practical thing, that how the information is being captured. It is like the way physical world, the information is being captured. Same thing in the network side, on the cyber side, things are being captured. There is a traffic. On the traffic, there is a prop is nothing but a collector. It collects the whole traffic. Then traffic is being analyzed, that which operating system, what IP, from which country to which country, and that traffic is being analyzed, and that traffic is user in the organization is being captured, right? That helps to analyze, that helps you to probe, that helps you to give the visibility. So when where we started the cyber situation awareness, cyber situation awareness is only possible if you have a net flow, if you have a complete visibility of your traffic. So just keep that in mind, that for cyber situation awareness, because to stay in a cyber world, safe in the cyber world, cyber situation awareness is the most critical and most important aspect. And to be aware of the situation, it's really important to capture each and every moment, each and every activity, each and every user, what he is doing in the network, that is being captured and enriched with the data, with machine learning, artificial intelligence, and a single view is presented to the security officer or security analyst, so that he can take a informed decision. Sometimes some question come that, is it very expensive to capture each and every moment? It is not. The, if I go 10 years back, yes, storage, hard disk capacities were very low, and the storage was very expensive, right? Hard disk, the capacity was very expensive. I remember when I started my days, my PC was having only 1 gig of hard disk. But if you talk about today mobile phones, minimum 64 gig is the capacity which we buy the phone, right? So storage is cheaper now. So 10 years back it was very expensive to store each and every moment, but now it's really good. And for how long should I store the information? So if we talk about the banking sector say that at least 3 months of data should be available, so that in case of any issue, in case of any compliance issue, in case of any breach, in case of any incident that happens, so that we can go 3 months back. What happened on 16th of August 2021. If I want to replay the session, I can do that. But non-banking sector, they say that it's okay for 21 days. So it is a retention policy which needs to be decided for a different segment of the customer. Like it is like CCTV cameras. Most of you might be having CCTV cameras at outside your gate, or whichever colony you are staying, they might be covering with CCTV cameras. If we go to your RWA or anybody, right, they say that we store the feed for 7 days, so that if there is any car by any chance stolen from the parking lot, so they can go back, what happened for those 7 days. So this is topic of discussion which needs to be decided, and action needs to be taken accordingly. Can we go to the next slide, please? So that brings to a very important slide. When there is a NOC, Network Operation Center, in any organization, why we need a security operation center? NOC is there, right? It is people are sitting there monitoring 24/7 what is happening in the network. They are doing all those things. Why we need a SOC? So by definition, if you look at NOC is a centralized location that gives you the complete visibility that how the things are being used in the IT network, right? Whereas in the SOC, the purpose is totally different. SOC is centralized location with purpose of monitoring a network at a granular level, right? The role of a NOC analyst is to see how the network is being used from a performance point of view, right? So that there is a smooth working, that IT is a backbone, right? So his purpose that flow of the traffic with reduced downtime, that is the purpose. But here the role is protecting the network. So now you have a very beautiful network designed, defined, and working in any organization. Is there any bottleneck? That is the role of a NOC center. Is there any malicious activity happening in the network? That is the purpose of the role of the SOC analyst. So role wise, performance monitoring, identifying any bottleneck, identifying an issue, is a role of a NOC analyst. SOC analyst, is there any issue? Is there any malicious activity happening? So that is the difference. So focus is to keep making the information available 24/7 is the focus. To focus here is to give the traffic which is free of anomalies. There is no threat. That is the focus. Is there anything happening in my network? Is there some activity which is happening in my network? Focus is to identify that. So performance assessment is that service level agreement is there, that network should be, there should not be no downtime. But here the performance is no data which is my IPO, right, which is my sensitive data, right, my IPR, sorry, not IPO, IPR, that should be protected. Is there any information about my employees? Is there any credit card information going out to unauthorized person? Is there my passwords are going to any unauthorized person? So that is the difference. So fundamentally, monitoring is happening at both the sides. NOC is also monitoring, SOC is also monitoring. So both are doing this, but the focus, the role, and the performance parameters are entirely different for NOC and for SOC. So that is what we have explained over here. So I don't know how you will get this presentation. You can get a copy of this presentation also later from the team. So we can go to the next slide. So let's focus more on cyber situation awareness. Please, next slide. So this is in detail, like if the technical is something which you focus on. So if you look at this flow data, which is like consider this thing that for those who are not from a IT background, or those who don't understand this, so consider this: any traffic which is moving is being captured. So traffic is nothing but a flow data, right? You are sending me a mail, I'm logging in, I'm sending my username and password, that generates a traffic. Once I log in, I go and download my attachment from my mail, so that attachment is creating a traffic. So it's really important to raw capture the data. Then enrichment is most important, that from which IP to which IP, from which website I'm downloading, from which region, from India to US. The server is in US, I'm in India. From my and the I am initiating the request from India to US. So that is all those important. Why that is important is sometimes at a country level or at a organization level, we don't want anybody to go to some other country where we don't have a good relationship. So XYZ, the neighboring country is there, and I don't want to my users to go to any server which is hosted in, for example, in my neighboring country, right? So it's really important to enrich that, and this will help me to draw a line, creating a geofencing. We call it a geofencing, creating a geofencing, that traffic should not be allowed to cross the borders. That could be possible, or that border could be a country border, that border could be my organization border. I don't want any information to go from my system, so it should not go to my competition. So that could be competition. So it depends the logic or the business purpose with which I'm designing my cyber situation awareness. Protection: so when I know, then only I will be protect. If I'm aware that there is a traffic jam, then only I will take a different route. So to protect, I should know. Then a decision will be taken. The other, this is a so suddenly the network operators or the security operations center see that user A is generating a lot of traffic, right? It could be legitimate traffic also, it could be a traffic because of some data leakage is happening. So decision is required to stop that. There could be a genuine business need, that I'm sending large attachments, large data to somebody else. That could be legitimate traffic. The decision is required whether to stop that, or whether to protect that, or to let it go. So all these pieces make a very good cyber situational awareness platform. And once the organization implement a cyber situation awareness, they can find out the breach at a speed, line speed, wide speed, at the live. So if any incident, we can stop any incident, believe you me, we have saved millions of dollars of the organization. Knowing at the right time, it is like we get the body test done every 3 months or every 6 months, we go for a blood test. Why we do that? If we know any disease is there, any irregularities are there in my body, if I know early, the damage can be saved. But if I know later, then it's a problem. So it's always important to know about your situation, whether it is your body, whether it's a physical word, you're going on a road, or it is a cyber word, right? Knowing the situation is the most important thing, and these are the building blocks to collect the information and be aware about your situation. Next slide, please. So features, encrypted communication, geofencing. Yeah. So yes, let's stay on this slide. So for any SOC, we talked about SOC. Three components are really important: network detection and response, SIM, and endpoint detection and response. Any organization which has these three different components, elements, right? Network detection and response, endpoint detection and response, and a SIM, which is nothing but aggregating each and every logs and with that it will show me the aggregate thing what is happening in my network and help me to analyze and monitor that. And if there is I need to do some automation, it will help me to automate the whole process of a security operation. So these are three components, NDR, EDR, and SIM. Once the organization implement these three, they can say that fairly they are safe. Nobody can claim that I can give you foolproof system, because there is nothing foolproof. Today what I feel foolproof, tomorrow something new will come, and that will not be sufficient. We can see that today it looks they are not sufficient. So these are the features: encrypted communication, geofencing, time travel for forensic. So these are all we have discussed, that role based access control, rule engine, that if we can define a rule engine, enabling micro segmentation, reporting, VPN tunneling, uh, machine learning, artificial intelligence, anomaly detection. These are all features, or I'll say these are more than features than considerations for any security officer in the organization to decide the technology they want to implement. Right? Can we go to the next slide, please? So how it works? Yes, please. So how the anomalies are detected? Very simple. Means we do this in every day-to-day life. How we consider something anomaly is there, right? For example, let's take about weather. We know that if it is a summer, the temperature, for example, in a month, whichever particular month we are talking and whichever particular region we are saying, that in that particular month, in the month of June, for example, in Delhi NCR, we talk about that in the month of June the temperature will be anything between 32 to 40, 38 degree, 40 degree, right? That is what we say threshold level. Anything below this and above that is anomaly. We can say that for example, I remember with friends we have gone to Missouri for our summer vacation, and it was hot. They said Missouri लगता नहीं है. Missouri is like Delhi, because the temperature is so high in Missouri. It doesn't look like Missouri. It feels that we are in Delhi. It is an anomaly. It is beyond the threshold level. It was not expected that temperature in Missouri would be 35 degree in that month. So threshold levels are really important to define. The moment we see in the network we are crossing the threshold levels, it is an anomaly. When it is an anomaly, it is time to act. When it is time to act, you need tools and technique to act. If you don't have tools and technique, still, if somebody says that in your blood test report some anomaly is there, and if you don't take an action, there is no point in knowing this. So you should have a valid mechanism to in response to that anomaly. So threshold levels are important to understand the anomaly. Then tools and techniques are really important to act on those anomalies. So it's really important. It's not one day job. It is a continuous process. Nobody can say that today I'm done with this, so I'm totally safe. It is a continuously monitoring of the things continuously, because as I said that hackers are like ballers. There are no rules for them. They can throw two balls at the same time, they can throw six balls at the same time. uh, there are no limited overs, right? For them, they can ball in night, they will do that balling in morning. For you, rules are defined that this is the wicket for you, right? And this is the timing in which you have to operate. But for them, it is not, no limit. So you really need, it's a continuous process. Anomalies will come. You need to understand that. You need to identify them. You need to have a mechanism. I tell you very important exercise which was done in with 20 CIOs, Chief Information Officers. One of the company did this exercise. They asked one simple question, all right? In case you see there is a breach in your network, what will you do? Right? To keep it simple, let's say that we go to some building and we ask all the resident, if there is a fire, what will you do? Everybody said that we have a assembly area outside our building. In case of any mishappening, that is assembly area, we all should go rush to that place and stay there, so that in case of fire, at least there is no loss of any human, right? That is well defined. But when we ask this question from very from that event, that what you will do if there is any attack happens in your network. Believe you me, there were 20 people and there were answers, different 20 answers. Somebody said this, somebody that, somebody this. But we know that in the physical world, if any attack, any fire has happened, we everybody said that we will go to the assembly area. So that that is the kind of gap, skill set gap, knowledge gap in the industry. So this is really important, that it is a continuous process and needs to be worked on this. Can we go to the next slide, please? Rule engine. So same thing, rule engine, you define a rule. How do we know this is the morning time? Right, we can see the sunlight, right? It is morning time on my watch. Rules, some parameters are there. So you define the parameter. If these conditions are not met, raise an alarm, right? Then there are certain exceptions. You do blacklisting, you do whitelisting. Some free form expressions are there. Nominal activities there, normal activities there. So you come with exception. But apart from this threshold, everything, if it is there, notification, right? Something is there, it's time to act. So it's really important for that way, rule engine capability. So whenever we define, it's important the rule engine should be scalable, should address the needs of the system. So it's really important when we act on the rule engine. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is just visibility perspective. Just capture the screenshot. And this is like from our organization only. This our product. I just captured the screenshot that if this kind of a screen dashboard is available in front of any analyst, he knows that how many operating systems are there, how many servers are there, which way the traffic is going, right? Which particular website is or which particular protocol is the reason for the maximum traffic in my system. So if I want to click on anything, like you see that ssl.google is moderately used in my system, I want to analyze, is there any malicious activity? I just click on this. It's a drill down kind of a thing that I can reach to the root cause. So it's really important to reach to the root cause. So it's all, or if you see on the right hand side, it is a link analysis that which IP is connected to which IP, how the traffic is flowing from which IP, and bigger the line, thicker the line is, it means the more traffic is flowing between those. So there are various dashboards, and not about my product, but in general also, any tool which we use in the organization, it's really important to have a visibility in terms, because visual visibility is really important. If I show in text, sometime it don't or it's very difficult to analyze, but visual visibility, it's always important. Next slide, please. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So sometime what happened is that the I'll say that the traffic which is there is encrypted, right? It's really important to see, because these days hackers are also using the advanced tools and techniques. They also work on the encrypted traffic. So it's really important to know, understand, get into that encrypted traffic. Because if you see in any organization these days, more than 70% of the traffic is encrypted. So that's really important to understand what is happening inside the encrypted traffic also. So tools should be there. These days we have enterprise decryptor tools also, which can be configured, which will give you the traffic view of the traffic, that obviously the personal information is never decrypted. The personal identifier information like usernames and passwords is never decrypted, but all other information is being decrypted, and see that if there is any issue, then that needs to be addressed. Can we go to the next slide? So automated detect attack, this I have already covered. So I think next three slides you can skip. So this is like window PC, IT administrator. So identifying the users from the traffic, so automatically detect and accordingly act on that. Next slide, please. Automatically detect with the behavior that transfer 3 TBs of data per day. For that user it is normal, but if that user is not transferring 3 TB of data in a particular day, that is less than the threshold level. Or if he is doing 20 TB of data, that is above the threshold level. That will help us to identify any anomalies. So these are the various rules and parameters which detects the anomaly behavior of any user. Next slide, please. Automated detect with the behavior analytics, that so again, this is like anything happening, identifying that dot, identifying that parameter, identifying that this is not a normal behavior, right? Somebody is trying to connect to a command and control center, there is a lateral movement, there's data filtration happening there. Those parameter helps any security officer to go deep into that incident and respond to that incident. Next slide, please. So use cases, next slide. I'll go quickly. Total visibility, right? If you want to have a total visibility, so from a cyber situational perspective, threat detection, triage, compliance, incident, total visibility. If you have a total visibility of your network, decision, you can take an informed decision. you know so we always say that it's very important to know your enemy, with whom you are going to fight. I remember, I'll just very interesting story. I belong to Punjab, and few years back, when the police was going after the terrorism attacks, they complained that the terrorists are carrying a very advanced level of you know arms, whereas they have don't have. So it's very difficult to fight with them. So that at that time the Punjab police decided to upgrade the Punjab police arms which they carry, and so that they can fight. So it's really important to know total visibility is really important with whom you are fighting. So if you know that, you can fight it well. Compliance, banking compliances are there, that sometimes you need to have this visibility from a compliance perspective, that there's no non-compliance incident is happening, you need a forensic is important part. We know in physical world also we need forensic, that they collect fingerprints, that any other data which they can get. It's really important. If you have a total visibility, you can respond to a threat detection. Tries is getting a complete information of that particular endpoint. It's really important. So these are use cases for any cybersecurity awareness perspective. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, I think I have covered uh, all the things. So Sandeep, any questions which you see on the chat window?
Mash, yeah, we have a question from the audience. Say from the audience asked, how does the network monitoring gets changed due to the from home situation?
Sorry, could you repeat?
How does the network monitoring gets
Hmm.
changed due to the work from home situation?
Yeah, it's thank you very much. I think this is really important question from today's standpoint of view. Uh, see, when we all work from office, we work from the office network. If we are working from a hotel, or if we are working, if a user who is traveling is working from a hotel, or if a user is working from home, how to capture that, right? So it's really important to capture that, right? It's really important that how that traffic can be captured. So the easiest way is that, one way is that, we, because the technology which I discuss is all agentless technology, which means that, there is nothing on the endpoint which is being installed, and that helped me to capture what is happening on the endpoint, on your desktop, on your laptop. So one way is that, we install the agents on the endpoints, which will capture the whole traffic of the end user and endpoint, and that gets me. Other thing is, I force the users to come on my VPN, right? They come on a VPN and they log into VPN, and then uh, that, because once they the route is through VPN, it means whatever they do, that is being monitored. So that two ways which comes to my mind. So either through some agent on the endpoint which will capture the traffic, and second is forcing the users to come through the VPN to the, for any activity, the first immediate activity should be that they connect to the VPN and come on a corporate network.
Interesting. In fact, I have another interesting question. Have you seen any changes in the cyber attack modus operandi in the current times than the earlier ones?
Yes, I think uh, today I will be surprised to know attack as a service. There are websites, if you go there, I means earlier every attacker used to define their ways of attacking any organization. They used to spend, months together to design an attack, right? These days, attack as a service is available, right? You just pay $10 and you can buy the attack, and that will help you to attack, or not to you, but to the hackers, to attack any organization. So this is ever evolving thing. Every time, it's evolving. Every time it is changing. Every day it is changing, or rather I'll say every moment innovation is happening on the hacker side also. If we say that innovation is happening at our level, innovation is happening at a hacker's level also. They also working for something, they also working for money, right? So innovations are happening at that level. That's why I say that it is a continuous process. वो चौड़ाई गेम चलती रहती है.
I'll take one last question. This audience, can we become an ethical hacker? Can we, how we can pursue a career in that?
Yeah, I tell you, that's a very like, it's a very good job opportunity, and being an ethical hacker helps the organizations to protect them. They go, means if you see, go to some job postings also, they demand the ethical hackers, that Google time to time come with this, that if you can breach this, if you can find out any flaws, we'll pay you very handsomely for that. So this as a career, it's really first of all, cyber space itself is a very good subject, and from a professional perspective, I think from a paying capacity perspective also, like, because the skill set gap is there, those who feel that somebody is earning very good in a photography, I should copy that, should not be the approach. Because he's earning very good, because he's a very good cameraman, he's earning very again, that could not be my skill set. But if you really feel this is a very rewarding field and exciting field, and it is, जब तक वो कंप्यूटर रहेगा तो साइबर सिक्योरिटी की ज़रूरत पड़ती रहेगी, टिल द टाइम दिस इंटरनेट इज़ देयर, and this is required. So ethical hacker definitely huge in demand, and companies are looking for that. But that logical thinking from a hacker's viewpoint, that is the most important. If you have that, I think that this is the best field.
Thank you, Avinash. I think fantastic session. It was very insightful and informative. Covered why cybersecurity is of the utmost importance, and also touched upon the strategies for the safer cyberspace, like securing the our core digital infrastructure or safeguarding our cyberspace activities, and most importantly, you touched upon the empowering the cyber savvy population, like raising the cyber situation awareness. Thank you once again, Avinash, for this session.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.